Therapeutics, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So we had an adventure this last week, and I was at the Downey Animal Shelter, and I was working with a mama that I had. I think the listeners might remember I had a pity mom with pups. Well, I've had lots of them, but I had one named Sugar, and I had all of her puppies. Big. My housekeeper called them monsters because at 10 weeks they were 27 pounds. So they were truly monster. I mean, they were amazing. But when you've got puppies and all that work, and they're 27 pounds at 10 weeks.
Yeah, those are some massive puppies. People don't realize what those are going to be. Those are going to be probably 100, 120 plus.
Oh, at least, yeah. I mean, if at 10 weeks they're 27 pounds, I mean, who knows how, I mean, they're going to be huge. And so when you've got 8 of those running around, it makes for a very interesting situation. So we got all the puppies adopted, but we still had Mama, right? And Mama went through a huge adventure herself because there was a lot of different things that were going on with her and different rescue groups and stuff like that. But so we were at Downey, and we were doing this little mini documentary with the company. And Sugar, who was the pity mom, she was the star of the show. And so we were there, and then I was speaking to the supervisor, Danny, and he's a supervisor of he handles like Downey, Carson, and Baldwin Park. So those are 3 of the LA County shelters, and he's the person right below Marcia Maeda, which she's like the big cheese, right, for LA County shelters. So I'm there with him, and we're just talking about, just problem solving, like how we can make things better, how we can save more lives, and what we can do. And so we were kind of going over, what I do. And a lot of the listeners might know that, I mean, I focus on moms and pups. That's a big thing to me. I don't want them to be giving birth in the shelter. I don't want that happening because of all the possible ramifications of that. And seniors and medical dogs. And so we were kind of going through that. Simple things like I don't think I should have to pool, or I shouldn't have to pay when I pull a dog from medical. That's going to be potentially costing me $3,000 in medical.
In all honesty, I don't think any rescue should ever have to pool, but that's just, that's a different story.
Right. No, I agree with you. And I know there are certain programs in different shelters that they have for rescue groups, but yeah. And no, I completely agree with you on that. But so, and even if it's just the $50 pool fee that the county has, if it's $50, I mean, you have to think about that. That's $50 more when I'm pulling a medical dog, or if I'm pulling a senior dog, or if I'm pulling a mom and pups. And when I'm pulling that animal, I'm looking at incurring, at least minimum, it's going to be about $500. So
take away the fact that maybe there's no medical for that animal, but you're still having to socialize. You're still having to spend time. That animal doesn't just go up for adoption right away. There's typically, with most rescues, there's a quarantine period. That's all time. Time is money.
Oh, yeah. Well, and there's food, there's grooming, there's if there's a behavior, socialization issues. I mean, there's so much that goes into a rescue pup before he's available for the public. So we were kind of going over, well, that was one of my things. I don't think that a rescue should be paying. I mean, I don't think that they should incur a cost. If you're pulling 20 dogs that would have been euthanized at the shelter, I don't think that should cost you, $500. So
yeah.
Anyway, So we were touching base about that, and then we were talking about moms and pups, and he said, "Well, hey, I actually I got an email."
Of course he did.
Yeah, he's like, "Well, I just had an email from Carson." And Carson said that, you know, they had these moms. They reached out to rescues. They didn't reach out to me. I don't know why, but he said they reached out to rescues and no one pulled them. But they were in clinic that day to be spayed. And I said, okay, well, what's going on? Can you check on this for me? And of course, I had to ask, are they bigs or littles? Because I can always take in a little mom that's getting ready to give birth, because the area that she needs and the care that she's going to need is much different than a big dog. So I asked him, you know, what's, you know, big or little? And he's like, well, let me check. And of course, you know, I'm expecting it to be, you know, 3 pit bulls just, you know, getting ready to give birth, because I mean, it's very common in the shelter. So, and then, so further on down the line, we were back and forth, and he's sending emails, we're making phone calls. I'm still trying to do this documentary. And it turned out, he's like, well, one of them was pulled by a rescue last night. One of them gave birth last night. And the other one is in clinic today. And so I was like, okay, it wasn't even a matter of how big she is. I'm like, she's in clinic today, and I know she's far along. So I was like, okay, well, let's pull her out of clinic. So it turned into, you know, a big dramatic thing, because this is a supervisor that's telling the regular staff what's going to happen at their shelter. So they tend to get, you know, their noses in a little bit of a crunch. But so they pulled her out of the clinic before she was spayed. And then I went there, and then they decided to give me all these hoops that I had to follow afterwards. Right?
Don't you love that?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, well, you didn't allow us to abort the puppies, so we're going to make sure you do all of these things within the next 24 hours.
Oh, lovely.
And the thing is, it is a process that I would do, or if I felt that there was some kind of concern, I would do it. But, and all the dogs, when they come out of the shelter, are seen just for a general checkup in my vet's office within 24 hours. I mean, they are seen by the vet, but not extensive testing, you know, unless it's warranted, unless something comes up in their exam that says that they need this. So, of course, the shelter says, okay, well, we need radiographs and ultrasound, and we need blood work, and we need this and that. And it's like, okay.
And they're going to be paying for this, right?
Yeah, no. So they were willing to abort the babies that morning, and they go from willing to abort the babies to just an overwhelming concern for the puppies. And I
actually have to stop you. So at this point, had you fully pulled the pets, the animals?
I had not pulled her yet.
Okay, so legally, all those things that they want falls into their jurisdiction financially, if they want all that.
It does, but they say to me, if you want this dog and her unborn puppies, then this is what you have to do in order for this to happen. Now, if you saw this mom, and even on intake, it shows in her intake report that her teats were already, she's getting ready to give birth because they're already starting to hang, right? Yeah. And so, it's like she's got maybe a week, right? And so they're going to spay her and abort those babies when they've got...
you can't do it. You can't do it at that point.
I mean, it's really... And that's the question of the day today. So if you have an opinion on that, feel free to call us here at 818-353-1276. And when we return, Chad, I want to talk more about this because I agree with you. I mean, when we go too far, once they're at a certain part in their pregnancy, and there are some rescues that disagree with me. So we'll talk more about that as soon as we return. You're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
Do you drink really pure water? If you drink bottled water, you should know about the bottled water dirty little secrets. Plastic bottles come from oil products. The polycarbonate jugs contain bisphenol A, a synthetic estrogen that's raised health concerns. Bottled water dispensers quickly develop algae and bacteria and should be sanitized regularly. Have you ever cleaned your water dispenser? Are you ingesting algae and bacteria and synthetic estrogen? Here's the good news. Pure Water Science can replace that dirty, outdated bottled water cooler with a high-tech water purification system. The Pure Water Science system features a stainless steel tank that constantly monitors water quality. It guarantees your water is pure. It alerts you when service or filter changes are needed, and the multi-stage purification system removes organic and inorganic contaminants. The patented self-sanitizing feature eliminates algae and bacteria while it adds oxygen to your water, and it costs less than bottled water without the bottled water hassle. No more bottles to lift. Call now, 818-502-4191. Pure Water Science, 818-502-4191.
As we are all aware, restaurants and celebrity chefs come and go. But one restaurant is constant, El Cholo. Hi, this is Larry Elder. Since 1923, the original El Cholo on Western Avenue and those in La Habra, Santa Monica, downtown LA, Anaheim Hills, and the latest Corona Del Mar have served millions of loyal fans and multiple generations. If you've dined there, you know the reason why. It's those fresh green corn tamales, Carmen's historic nachos, the margaritas, and so much more. Treat yourself and dine at a restaurant you really want to go to, not one where you're supposed to go to. El Cholo. I know I do.
Are you nearing eligibility for Medicare benefits? Then you know now is an important time in your life. Medicare benefits can be a complicated puzzle. You don't want to overpay for your Medicare coverage or get the wrong plan. Let Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. With one free phone call, a licensed insurance agent will help you select a Medicare plan that's right for you and your budget. If you're becoming eligible for Medicare, call today and learn how to get the most out of your benefits.
800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA or assumed name of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is an authorized insurance agency in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state.
Call 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960, 800-793-1960.
Hello, CRN listeners. This is Michael Horn, inviting you to join me and my co-host, Sommelier Nicole Nielsen from Roost Chris Steakhouse, as we present What's Cooking on Wine. Find out about the latest trends in wine, great food, spirits, and a whole lot more. It's What's Cooking on Wine, done live at 6 o'clock Monday nights at Roost Chris Steakhouse in Pasadena, California, and then the replays throughout the weekend right here on CRN. So if you love wine and you love great food, it's What's Cooking on Wine right here on CRN.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So, Chad, give me your take. What is your take? When, as a rescue, when do you say, okay, it's gone too far?
Well, here's my take. In my opinion, and you're the expert on mamas and puppies, and I am not, but I know enough to know that when mom is within the last 4 to 6 weeks, probably 4 weeks, I would say that's too late. When her teeth start filling with milk, and you're kind of at the point where these puppies are pretty much fully grown, except for minor things. I think that is the point where we are crossing the line. And again, the period for pregnancy for a dog is how many days? You would know this better than me.
66 days. 66 days.
66 days. So if we're halfway past that, in my opinion, we're too far. I would not say past 30, 35 days.
And that's
my opinion.
And that's a sense. I mean, there are even a lot of veterinarians. Like, I was speaking to my veterinarian last night, and I was asking her, "What's your take on it?" And she actually will not do it if they're over 40 days. So if they see it on X-ray or ultrasound and it appears, I mean, obviously you ask the people, but she will not do a spay if they're over 40 days. She won't do it. So even if someone came in and asked her to do it, she personally, that's her belief, and that's her cutoff point. So, so then if you look at it that way, okay, so the shelter, like, there are some out there, and there are rescues. I actually got some PMs myself.
They'll do it. They'll do it to the final day. If the mom hasn't had the puppies yet, they'll do it.
Oh, and they have. They have. I mean, I've actually the shelter. There have been times where the shelter euthanized a pregnant mom, and knowing, I mean, she was already full of milk. So if she's full of milk already, she's going to give birth any day, and you figure that's a long, painful death for the puppies because they essentially suffocate. Once they euthanize the mom, the puppies suffocate. So. And that has happened. I mean, I've actually had it to where I was in Kern County and I was pulling a number of dogs. And one of the mamas that was going to be euthanized that day, that was scheduled to be euthanized, that I pulled, she gave birth on her way home. So where she was having contractions in the car. And as soon as she got out of the car, literally before I got everyone unloaded, she had already had her puppy. So if you take that into consideration, but there are rescues out there, and I've had a few people PM me that said, am I really being a responsible rescue? We have enough dogs. There's an overpopulation. So, and if there's someone out there that has that opinion, I would love to hear from them because, I mean, help me understand. I'm open. I'm never, it's like it's the world of rescue, but in my general opinion, if you're able to see and you're able to tell that the mother is pregnant, not a guess, not a, oh, well, she could be, oh, she's a little fat. If it's obvious, it's clear that you've got a pregnant mom, I think that you've already gone past the point. And it's an unscientific way for me, but that's how I see it. And definitely if your teats are already starting to descend, they're already starting to, you can see the signs of motherhood imminent, which it usually happens between a week to 10 days before they give birth. Once you see that, really, how can you, in good conscience, how can you do that? So, I mean, a life is a life. And, I mean, I've had people that disagree with me. I just had some PMs on rescues that said we have too many dogs, and how can you?
And they're right. We do have too many dogs, absolutely. But there is a ethical responsibility to these animals, and it's not like a human being in the sense that we choose to get pregnant or not pregnant, and then it's our bodies and we're conscious. These animals are pretty much they're going off instincts, and they're pretty much manhandled by the males when they're getting pregnant as a female. And a lot of times a female is in with 4 or 5, 6 different males who've all, basically penetrated her, and all of them could be fathers to puppies that she's carrying.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen litters where I'm like, okay, there was definitely 3 dads here. Yeah. It's like this one looks like a Saint Bernard.
That can happen.
This one's a Saint Bernard. This one's a Great Pyrenees, and those are definitely pity pups. So, well, yeah, and I want to talk more about that as soon as we return, and just kind of get an idea. Like, you're right. I mean, I have my personal opinions about humans also, but once you go too far, I've done it when I seen someone connect, and I did the spay the next day. So I know that she was pregnant because that's what happens every time they do it, But it was like, okay, then I got her in and scheduled her for the next day. But I want to talk more about this as soon as we return. You're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
Try Fry Vineyards, the Mendocino County organic wine with no sulfites added. Fry Wines, America's pioneering organic winery. They were the first to go organic, the first maker of certified biodynamic wines in the United States. At Fry Wines, our emphasis is on producing organic wine of the highest quality while caring for our planet and palate alike. Check out our website at frywine.com and join the Fry Vineyards Wine Club. You'll receive 20% off all orders and much more. Plus, you can check out our internet-only specials. Great biodynamic wines from Redwood Valley in Mendocino County, California. Fry Wines. Go to frywine.com. That's F-R-E-Y-W-I-N-E. Fry Wine. F-R-E-Y-W-I-N-E.com. Check it out and enjoy great wines at your home tonight.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson. Attention men who've taken Androgel or any other testosterone therapy products. Androgel or other low-T products have been linked to heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, even death. Scientific studies indicate that the use of testosterone therapy products may double a man's risk of heart attack. If you or a loved one took Androgel or a testosterone therapy product and suffered from a heart attack, stroke, pulmonary embolism, deep vein thrombosis, or any other cardiac event, you might be entitled to financial compensation. You have rights, and you need to let us fight for your rights. And you pay no fees unless we win. So call the tort attorneys right now. 800-557-7921. 800-557-7921. That's 800-557-7921. Cases may be referred to participating law firms in your jurisdiction.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Ristorante in Fullerton, California for authentic family-style Italian dinners. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's and celebrate your party or event in one of our festive banquet rooms. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 550 North Harbor Boulevard. Named the Orange County Hot List Top 5 Italian restaurant for 7 years in a row. And a Top 10 pizza restaurant by Gale, featuring traditional and award-winning pizzas. Offering Sunday champagne brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., just $16.95. Choose from over 20 items, plus create your own personal omelet. Delicious lunches, including our Express Lunch Buffet, $8.95 with over 15 items. And dinner 7 days a week. Getting married? Angelo's and Vinci's won this year's Wedding Wire Couples Choice Award. You can talk to our experienced staff of wedding coordinators. We treat you as guests at your own wedding reception. It's all at Angelo's and Vinci's Ristorante at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022. 714-879-4022.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. With one phone call, you'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information. It's a free service, so call now.
Call now, 800-704-6182, 800-704-6182.
Attention CRN listeners in Arizona. Now all of your mortgage needs can be handled by Advance Capital Mortgage. Looking for a reverse mortgage, refinance, new purchase, or just to streamline your FHA and HARP? Our rates are great with dozens of lending solutions. Call Advance Capital Mortgage, 855-437-8421. That's 855-437-8421. 855-437-8421. MBO 91903, MLS 716936.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So we were talking about if and when is the right time to do a spay when a mom is pregnant, and essentially a spay is aborting the puppies, her unborn puppies.
So tell me, you said that you had some people that had made comments, I don't know if this is Facebook or, other social media, basically where, they disagreed with this mama having the puppies.
Yes. And thankfully, they sent private messages. So I can appreciate.
They didn't slam you in public. That's
right. So it's like, okay. And there was a few that I deleted. I will admit that because I didn't think they were appropriate, but I'm stayed on the positive side. So there are some in rescue that think that, or they believe, and everyone has the right to their own opinion. I know what I'm personally comfortable with ethically and morally, and as someone who feels responsible for the well-being of a dog or of the dogs in my care, animals in my care. So yes, I received a few PMs that said, how can I be supporting this? And basically what the heck is wrong with me that I made this decision? And so I kindly told them that, I make sure that any dogs that are in my care, the moms are taken care of and later they are spayed. And all of the pups that are born into my rescue group, they also are cared for. They're fully vaccinated, microchipped, and spayed and neutered before they go on to find their forever home. And so then that's my policy. That's what I do. And Also, there's something else to think about here too. Is there's the negative ramifications and the things that can happen to the mother when she's in the shelter system and they decide to do this. So I'm thinking about everyone, not just the puppies. I'm also thinking about I'm also thinking about the mom. So we have
tell everybody what some of the ramifications, so that they can understand why you tend to sway on this side of the decision.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to go into a few of those. We actually have Linda from Washington on the line. Linda, welcome to the show. Linda,
Dad,
are
is
you
that
there?
you on there?
Hi, Linda.
Hey.
How are you?
Sorry, it's going to be kind of noisy. I'm kind of standing outside in the sunshine. So.
Well, that's
Getting
okay.
some of that very rare Washington sun today.
There you
Well,
go.
good. Enjoy it.
Need that vitamin D. So, Linda, our topic today is obviously we're discussing pregnant moms, and Chad had just asked, and I want to explain it to the listeners, what some of the negative ramifications towards the mother, things that can happen as a side effect of them aborting the puppies at late term. So, are you aware of some of those side effects, Linda?
Very aware, Christina.
Okay, why don't you share?
Time.
Why don't you share with some of the listeners?
Well, did you bring up Millie yet? Millie's a perfect example.
I have not, but yes, Millie is.
But
Millie's a pity girl that
Millie
I had.
Yes, for a while there, and we found her a good home. But she was one of those puppies that came to the shelter, and I don't know what happened to her puppies, but she was full of milk, and so no one expelled the milk, and no one, we finally got her rescued, but she had such an infection she almost died because one of her mammary glands exploded.
A number of them.
No other way to say it, but it exploded. Open wounds. And
so when you go far enough,
right now too.
So when you go too far in term in the pregnancy, and even if they decide to spay her, which is a more complicated spay because she does have milk and her teats and her body's already preparing for puppies. So the milk has dropped down. So whether they take the puppies away from her when she's she has too much milk and they take the puppies away because a lot of times they sell them before they should. But
and not to mention the hormones are still there, and so they have no way. They don't go through the whole process. So it's kind of like stopping halfway, and then they're stuck there with all this milk, and or they put them up for adoption at a shelter, and no one wants to adopt them because they're full of milk, and they just pass them by. So they end up putting them to sleep anyway.
Which is very common,
really.
Or they're hormonally unbalanced, and so they could they could have a hormonal imbalance, and because of that, then their behavior, because everything's out of whack. So,
who's that dog that came in that when we were talking about that she just had her puppies and they picked her up as a confiscation from a house or something, and then she was so aggressive they just took her puppies away and then killed her. In a matter
absolutely.
Of a couple of days.
That was
so now you have puppies with no mom, no milk, and they're young. They were a week old maybe.
Oh, no, they were hours old. They were hours old when they came to me. So, and that's a situation, Chad, what the situation she's talking about is there was a mama out in Riverside, and she was a confiscation case. They were bringing her in, and she was giving birth in the
truck.
In the truck
right?
on the way to the shelter. She's fearful, obviously, because she was just confiscated from her home. Now she's giving birth in a truck, and then they put her in. She finishes having the puppies, and now she's a protective mom. It's animal nature. It's animal instinct for them to be protective of their puppies. They're in a strange place. She doesn't know what's going on, and they euthanized the mom. So I got the puppies. They were less than 24 hours old when I got the puppies. So I have a bunch of puppies with no mama because of the situation. And I was bottle feeding, and it's like, okay, I've got 10 pity puppies that I'm suddenly bottle feeding, and thankfully I had another mom that was still lactating.
And that's another thing. Sometimes we do we do a search, like when that happens, if we still have like a mama that's still full of milk, and it's amazing that people like, oh yeah, well I have a mama full of milk, and you have puppies that need milk, and they end up helping each other out, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, and people also don't realize when you take away the mom from a brand new born puppy or even kitten, you're lowering their immunity, which, it makes them susceptible to disease and many other things. So, if you're going to have puppies, the ideal thing is to have the mama as well.
Right. And also, I mean, we're getting ready to go to a commercial break, but I want to touch base. I want to go over that a little bit more with you, Chad, because you're absolutely right. If you don't have the mama, they don't have the immune system that they need. And that's the reason they need to be out and they need to be with a rescue, because the shelter, what the shelter can and can't do, I mean, they're limited. Especially if they euthanize the mom, what's going to happen? Very often they can euthanize the mom, but they don't have someone to take the puppies, and the puppies end up dying also.
They do that, and that's what killed them too. So.
Right. You are listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse in Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. If you haven't been to Columbo's, you don't know what you're missing. Delicious food. The steaks on this side are fabulous. The seafood so fresh and flavorful. Columbo's family Italian specialties are Southern California legendary, and the meatballs, the best in the West, North, South, and East. Plus service that's friendly but not fawning, and jazz every night, and it's also affordable. That's what makes Columbo special, and they make special easy, whether for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That's why when you really want Italian food, you've got to go to Columbo's, because it really is that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, making special easy every day. Columbo's, mangia.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So, Chad, we were talking about some of the negative effects. Can you think of any positive ones?
You cut out there. I'm sorry. What was that?
I said, so we were talking about the negative effects on a mama. Can you think of any positive ones?
No, not really.
Right. Well, and that was the whole thing. I felt like I needed to... When I replied to the PMs, and I did delete a few messages because on my Facebook page, Animal Foundation of America, there was a couple things that they said that were not, they were not very nice. And so I just deleted them because I don't want negativity. And I mean, I don't want to bring negativity and the drama into my rescue, but I have my beliefs. And I believe that once she's showing that she's going to give birth within the next week, I don't think that it's the right thing to do to put her through that procedure. You endanger her life. And also, I mean, let's think about this for a second. So what is the shelter to do? I mean, I think that they should all reach out to a rescue as soon as possible. I don't care what the breed is. Reach out to every rescue partner you have. I agree. Who do you have? Who's rescue partners? Whether it's a breed they normally take or not. This little girl, she's a Vizsla lab mix. She's absolutely adorable. There's Vizsla rescues out there. I mean, I know Paw Works and Animal Foundation of America. We take all range of dogs. We don't limit, the breed. We're not breed specific, but there are breed specific rescues out there. So if you've got a Vizsla mix, reach out to every Vizsla rescue there is, every rescue partner that handles Vizslas. then you need to reach out to them. Same thing with pitties. I mean, pitties is very common. I mean, I have a pitty mom and 10 puppies right now. And now I'm soon to have, a Vizsla mom with more puppies, and that's so much work. Oh my goodness. But the shelters, they have a responsibility, I feel, to reach out to the rescues, because she's going to give birth within the next week. Okay. And we did ultrasound and we did x-rays, and I even have a little ultrasound video I can post up a little bit later. And oh my goodness, when you see their little heartbeats and they're kicking in there, oh my goodness. But so if you think about that, like their responsibility and what could happen to the mom as a result of you terminating this far along, then how can you do that? I mean, I understand the shelter. I even try to understand their position, right, to terminate this far along. But then you're also sentencing that mom, you're more than likely sentencing her to doom also, because she's full of milk. She's going through a complicated spay. Very often, they can be infectious. Situations can happen. And so it's very possible that the puppies and the mom both don't make it. I think any mom that comes in, if she's that far along that it's very clear that she's mid to late gestation, which this little girl, Anna from Carson, that's what her intake report showed. She's mid to late gestation. Once you pass the mid gestation period, then you should be doing everything you can to reach out to every rescue partner you have to see who can take that mom and future pups. That's my opinion. And
and you know what? I have to stop you, because some shelters are amazing about that, and some just want to collect their paycheck because they're county employees.
It's true. That is true. There are shelters, and there are certain people. There are different people. Like, look, Danny reached out to me, okay, and he's the head guy. They didn't reach out to me at Carson. They didn't reach out to me, even though they know full well I take moms and pups. They reached out to a few. So they said, they did their little cursory, we reached out to a few rescues, but we're putting these moms into clinic. One of them, thankfully, she gave birth the night before. But think about that for a second. She was scheduled to be in clinic that day, and the night before she gave birth. So if she was one day later, they would have aborted those puppies, and she's obviously going to be very full of milk, and they would have aborted those puppies, and they were full term. She gave birth that night before she was scheduled to go into clinic the next morning. So how is that okay? There's plenty of us rescue groups out there that'll take moms and pups. Not plenty. There can never be enough. But there are very responsible, reliable rescues that'll take moms and pups. And I personally would much rather take them before the mom gives birth, because then I can get her checked out. She's comfortable with me. It's like, okay, she understands what the routine is. And then when she goes through the big experience of having the puppies, she's already settled in. Me personally, that's what I prefer, because if you get a mom and she's a new mom, just had puppies, oh my goodness, they can be a little they can be a little crazy. I think a lot of the listeners remember I called one of the girls mean mom. And it's just
mean mom.
Yeah, just because she kept trying to bite me to pieces, and rip me apart. But I still took care of her, and I still took care of her pups. So it's but that's very often what happens. And so if a mom does give birth in the shelter, then it's animal instinct for them to be protective. And once they're protective and they're of that, they're in that mode, they're going to bite. They're going to bite. And then the mom's going to be euthanized. And then you're going to have puppies that more than likely will be euthanized if a rescue doesn't step up, because they can't feed them. The shelter can't do it. So it's one of those things. It's a matter of, really, they need to just reach out to rescues. But as soon as we get back from commercial break, I'll talk a little bit more about Anna's specific story and what's going on, and I'll make sure I'm going to post her ultrasound. I'll post it up on our Rescue Radio page. So if you're listening out there, like our page on Rescue Radio, and I'll post Anna's puppy's little ultrasound. You're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital.
Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Ka'anapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. Really? They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-471-5173, 800-471-5173.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Ristorante in Fullerton, California for authentic family-style Italian dinners. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's and celebrate your party or event in one of our festive banquet rooms. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 550 North Harbor Boulevard. Named the Orange County Hot List Top 5 Italian restaurant for 7 years in a row. And a Top 10 pizza restaurant by Gale, featuring traditional and award-winning pizzas. Offering Sunday champagne brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., just $16.95. Choose from over 20 items, plus create your own personal omelet. Delicious lunches, including our express lunch buffet, $8.95 with over 15 items, and dinner 7 days a week. Getting married? Angelo's and Vinci's won this year's Wedding Wire Couples Choice Award. You can talk to our experienced staff of wedding coordinators. We treat you as guests at your own wedding reception. It's all at Angelo's and Vinci's Ristorante at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022, 714-879-4022.
Welcome back to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk. So, let's see. Wow, we're almost wrapping up here, but
final segment. That went by fast.
I know, right? I think that's what happens when I get on a subject sometimes, where I'm like, oh my gosh, people just don't understand. So, but I mean, I think to me, that's the point of the radio show, to bring people's attention to what happens when they bring a pup, a mama in that's getting ready to, that's pregnant, when they should have spayed and neutered her in the first place. If she was spayed, then she could very well still be in your home, and you wouldn't have the excuse, oh, my landlord won't let me keep her because she's got 10 freaking puppies. Like, yep. Okay, let me just hit you upside the head with a bat. And so that's the situation I have right now. I have a mama with 10 puppies, and so the mama's young. She's about 1.5 years, and they're like, oh, the landlord won't let me have so many puppies. Well, let's see. You could have had her spayed. That's a novel idea now, isn't it? And the other thing is, people say there's an expense, but there's lots. I mean, PawWorks has done spay and neuter events. There are rescues pretty much. I know definitely in the Southern California area, there are rescues anywhere you turn. You can find a rescue. And me personally, I mean, I've done it. I had a Gore Animal Shelter tell me that they had someone who was in violation with pity pups over and over again. And so I said, okay, well, she needs to get spayed and she's very pregnant. Let's get her to the clinic. And because what would have happened to those 10 puppies? They would have been confiscated by the shelter because the guy was already in violation, you know? So it's like, okay, homeless pity pups, great, with no mama to feed them and help them. So, I mean, there are clinics there. I mean, I've done it. I know Paul Works does it often. You guys do the spay neuter clinics in Oxnard. Yep. So to say that you don't have the money to do it doesn't work for me.
You don't have to have the money.
Right.
That's why we're all out there doing what we're doing.
And
you don't have to have the money.
Here's the thing. If you think you don't have the money for that, to get that spay or neuter surgery, do you have any idea how much it costs to have 10 puppies?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like after
But then on the other side, you can sell those puppies, remember?
Well, okay.
That's a different subject.
Right, and it is. And maybe
I think we need to wrap up. I think we need to wrap up before I get you heated again.
I know, right? So we'll maybe talk about that next week because that is a whole different subject when they're having puppies and overbreeding these moms to have more puppies. But if you spay her, like, do you have any idea how much it costs again for 10 puppies? Because after the first 3 weeks, mama takes good care of them the first 3 weeks. At 4 weeks, you start hitting work. And then from there, I mean, then it's a whole different story. Between 4 and 8 weeks, when you have their first set of shots, you're like, oh my goodness. But if there are agencies available. So if you're thinking, oh, my dog never gets out, well, when she's in heat, you never know, she might. Exactly. And your male dog. Don't let him be responsible for homeless puppies out there. So be a responsible pet owner and don't be contributing to the homeless pet population out there. Get your males neutered also. So I think we have about 60 seconds here. So you have your gala coming up. If people want information, they can...
I do. You can go to paulworks.org, you can go to tiesandtails.org, or you can just follow us on Facebook because, you know, we tell the world what's going on with us, just like you.
All right, fantastic. And for me, I'm Animal Foundation of America. So you can look me up on Facebook or on my website. And then, of course, we have Rescue Radio. So you can like us on Facebook and keep in touch with our stories of the day. So do you have anything exciting coming up besides your gala? What's going on this week?
Just getting ready and pulling more dogs. We've been adopting fairly quickly, and so we're going to be pulling more dogs and just, you know, the fun stuff of rescue.
Well, let's talk about that some more off the air because I have some great ones for you for your adoption store. So we'll talk about that later. And you're listening to Rescue Radio on CRN Digital Talk.
Which is most important because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High Definition Sound. Log on to www.CRN Talk for listings and information on all your favorite shows. That's www.crntalk.com.
The radio channel.